Impatience, Ren and Chris Webby are back with another one. Me and my monster, and coming off that last record, I am very excited to hear this one out. No, I got forward. Let's get it. Hit that thumbs up button. Let's get to work.
I don't know just why I'm like this. I've heard people around me say something's off, I'm not okay. Cause that darkness I keep bottled up is seeped into my veins. So I let the monster out the cage. Something's in the water, at least that's what I blame. I can feel a monster that wants...
Hold on. Let me give Chris Webby his flowers. You know what I'm saying? I really liked how he started the song, especially with somebody who I think, like, on paper we would probably go Ren would be like the stronger vocalist, right? It's like a singer. I think Chris Webby is more of a rapper. I think Ren can compete singing wise with singers, but that doesn't mean that Ren should be used for every hook, especially with this much. They just put out like 7 songs. They have a 15-song album. You can always Johnny Cash it. You can always, I believe, finding the beauty in your voice is everybody has it. Whether you're very bassy, whether you're very high pitched, whether you're nasally, whether you're gravelly, whether there's something you can find that will work for your voice. Even if it's just what I tell a lot of niggas is like the shower sing. Like, you're not really singing. You're just sort of doing this and getting to the... You could just sort of do something like that. But not saying that. But I think that he shows his time at recording himself, at making music, being able to compose a strong hook like that. Now, Ren came in that bitch bellowing though. I go, oh.
I've heard people around me say something's off, I'm not okay. Cause that darkness I keep bottled up is seeped into my veins. So I let the monster out the cage. Something's in the water, at least that's what I blame. I can feel a monster that wants to escape, scratching on my insides. No peace from a freak of nature.
Nah, this nigga Ren definitely should have did the hook. I ain't gonna lie. No, because Ren is a singer, there's just this, it's so dynamic, and like nature, like he does that shit, you can feel it, like the movement in the song. I just think when you're really good at a lot of things, and this is gonna be the best compliment Ren has ever gotten in his life, listen up. When you're good at a lot of things, sometimes it'd be hard to discern, or to maybe not even to discern, but to truly credit how good you are at each individual thing. And I think people like LeBron James suffer from that. And for our non-sports fans, just take that at face value. I compared him to LeBron James. For my sports fans who are probably like, wait, nigga, are you saying he's like LeBron James singing? No. But what I am saying is LeBron James is such a great passer of a basketball. People think that you would describe him as a passer, but you run into sort of this contradiction in thought when you figure out this nigga's got the most points too, which would mean he's actually the best scorer of the ball too. But because he passes it so well, you forget that. Then you start looking at, oh, okay, I think like a good 3-point shooter is like 33%. He shoots 35. We never call him a 3-point shooter. Things like that. I think sometimes when you're so good at a bunch of things, we don't go, wow, you're so good at this. But when I hear the contrast of Webby singing, and I thought Webby would have been good enough. In fact, if Ren didn't come in here like really on belt to ass, I'd have thought it was just perfect. But instead of, the way my brain works, instead of for that to take from Webby, I don't let it take from Webby because no, you already did good. All it does is just actually give more to Ren where I go, God damn, nigga, you can really sing. Like,
What? At least that's what I blame. I can feel a monster that wants to escape, scratching on my insides. No peace from a freak of nature. Cause recently my thoughts are driving me insane, pulling me apart by the seams in my brain, crawling on my windpipe. Wake the beast, time to meet your maker.
and like, I think that some of also his writing be impeccable too. Like, he will get so descriptive, and I think with the context sometimes of knowing like Ren is actually going through things that are causing him. I'm saying this with a smile, but it's not that I'm smiling at, because I just thought about that, like real sick. No, I'm not smiling at what he's going through. I'm smiling at like, wow, this is good writing. But you know he's actually going through things that are causing him physical pains, you know, sickness, hospitalizations, all these kind of things, the hospital stints, all these kind of things, right? And when he's describing it, it hits with so much realism. And even though if it's a metaphor, simile, whatever he's doing with it, you feel that shit because you know this nigga's not joking. That at times in his life he has legitimately physically felt these pains, and maybe now he's talking about the mental things too. And he is so good at writing, though, even if you aren't someone who has dealt with that, there is still stresses, anxiety that have made you feel like you're pulling apart at your brain that you'll be able to relate to it too. And then also you have to give to niggas who are, I always say that rap is the most underrespected genre because people don't speak to how brilliant even a low-level rapper is as a writer. But with pop, I think people discredit how difficult it is when you're like making singy, poppy, this could be on the radio kind of records. You don't have as many words to be as descriptive. You don't have as many words to be depictive, or to depict things, right? So me, I can tell you what I'm thinking about this shit for an hour, and if I think in the first way I said it wasn't good enough, I'll go, wait, hold on, let me clarify here, and then I'll come back here. Sometimes I'll go, but when you're writing a song, you're not awarded that. So you have to be you have very little room to mess up. And I think that's why most of the time pop just don't really be about shit. It just be like the lovey, da da da. But when you're able to make pop songs like this, like another nigga I could compare him to is John Mayer, like Waiting on the World to Change and all that shit, to be able to juggle that this is going to be a hit record, but to still convey such messaging, you give those niggas extra points.
So let me get the first thing first. I was cursed since birth. I was born with Nostradamus, like prophecies worse of fate.
Hey, y'all know, if I'm not gonna tell y'all whose line that is, but I would be real proud if you guys knew who Ren was quoting right there. He said, and since birth, I've been cursed with this curse to just curse and blurt this berserk shit. And it helps because it all out my back.
First, I was cursed since birth. I was born with Nostradamus, like prophecies worse of fate. Pain shaped and the pain makes me not think straight. Brain checkmate, need restraint, since there's 2 chains and a whole cage to contain the pace of my train of thought, cause it's all for morbid, more highly strong in the...
Yo, this is okay. Ren is rapping very good because Ren can get into that rapping like you know, after school specialty rap. No, stay here, bro. Stay here. This shit is fire.
Train, since there's 2 chains and a whole cage to contain the pace of my train of thought, cause it's all for morbid, more highly strong in the soul is tortured, more highly strong from a new supported, and the more I run, more I feel awkward, like I'm caught in a storm and I'm nose to orbit, and for dust to dawn as opposed to forces, it's it's coming, it hurts, it's murderous mercy, this monster that's lurking. I don't know just why I'm like this. I've heard people around me say something's off, I'm not okay.
And even the contrast, his voice still holds up, even with Ren shit. That's why you don't take from him just because someone's doing something technically better. Don't take from his because it still works. There's still like an eeriness of like, you are in like that. There's that one video that these niggas have where they're like, I think they're in purgatory, but it's like a bar and it's sort of smoky vibes and like it's like people making deals. The devil I sort of remember, like that kind of energy. I sort of get that kind of imagery. We're in an old timey bar at the end of our time of the world. That's how I just like picture this, and his voice really goes with that well.
Cause that darkness I keep bottled up is seeped into my veins. Let the monster out the cage. Feel it in my bloodstream, rushing through my veins. Feel him as he creeps through the halls in my brain. And he's always hungry, gotta keep him fed. After years spent trying to expel him from in my head, he started under the bed till he made himself a home in the furthest depths of my psyche, to the marrow in my bones. He's that shadow that I cast, that reflection in the glass. He's that static in the silence telling me I'm not alone. In my DNA and that double helix, and lead the way and I fucking feel it's too late to make a vacate. Change to my fate, maybe I'm crazy or that my fucking spirit is just plain weak for letting him win. Or maybe destiny that we spend the rest of our natural lives together. Why fight each other? Cause in the end I've felt an emptiness that's following me since a kid, but he was there to claim the occupancy.
And so I go, it's like I'm actually really listening to his lyrics and having a thought, and I'm trying to understand what is it that he's describing, because he goes, at first I'm thinking it's just fear, right? And he's saying like it starts under the bed, but then eventually we become so succumbed to this, like it becomes identity, whether it be anxiety, whether it be whatever it is. We start, as we go on, like these fears, sort of these irrational kinds of thinkings start becoming us and in us and in us. And as a kid, like, kid don't really be scared. Like, kid be brave as shit. Kid don't be. I always say that if you want to see that, if you look to the Bible as allegory and you watch and you hear of Adam and Eve and somebody biting this apple and then becoming aware of themselves, and because they're aware of themselves, they now develop shame. If you do not believe that is true, watch a child. Hold on. Let me reword that shit. Hold on, y'all. Hold on. No, that was crazy. What I mean to say is, watching a kid grow up. A baby, 2 years old, be butt ass naked. They don't have that thought to, like, let me put my clothes on. You're gonna have to put their clothes on them. A lot of times, if they put their diaper on, if it starts being uncomfortable, let's take that shit off. You're gonna have to put the diaper back on the child, right? And then, and this thought comes from when I was learning about a pelvic tilt. Yes, in case I'll be having very random connective thoughts. Watch this. And so I learned that a lot of us develop that because we go through our whole lives sucking in our stomach, and it messes up our body's alignment. Okay. And as a child, at one point you were willing to be butt naked in front of whoever. You ain't give a damn. You ain't give a damn what your body looked like, whether this was big, this was small, if this was even, if this was dark, if this was white. You were so okay with yourself, but then you learned the world and you became conscious and you became aware of yourself. And I'm not telling you to walk around naked, but you became aware of yourself. So why are you, breathe, exhale. Why are you sucking in? Why some niggas probably sucking in right now as I'm saying, why are you sucking in? Some people are. And I get it, because the pressure of the world, and especially if you're like a girl or even a guy, you don't want to be fat and stuff. I get it for sure. But at one point you were okay running around butt naked. And sometimes we think that exposure to this information is a good thing, but it's not always a good thing, because sometimes you're taking guilt and shame and evil and putting it on yourself. That's what they're trying to tell you in that hoe. That's what biting the apple and all. That's all they're saying. But you get lost in they be feeling a little science fiction for a nigga. I feel you. It do be a lot of shit going on, and a snake and all that shit. But it's and I see it as the world, and you just sort of take that kind of thing on. So I'm wondering, what is he describing? Is that thing that? Is it just like shame and fear? And before it was a monster under his bed, but now the monster in his bed is the voices in his head telling him he's not good enough anymore, shit like that? Or am I just overreading this? Is that not what that means? Is that how you all take it?
Lifetime later, right back where I started, you see, till the credits roll. Still, it's just my monster in me. Yeah. I don't know just why I'm like this. I've heard people around me say something's off, I'm not okay. Cause that darkness I keep bottled up is seeped into my veins. Let the monster out the cage.
But what messed up my thought was when he said, like, he finds peace in it, or like he finds security in it, I think he said, or something like that. And I was like, that's what made me sort of lose my train of thought of it. I like that song a lot. I feel like it sort of took me back to like a Money Game or one of those kind of joints by Ren where we're able to like sort of like talk and like think, and it makes you think and it makes you like, you know what I'm saying? While not going for like a super like the Money Game or one of those like capitalism things that we've talked about a lot. Even though we have talked about sadness, I just felt like this was a little different, and I enjoyed it. 10 out of 10 for both of you guys. Hit that thumbs up button if you want me to keep going. I think we might have to live stream this whole album. What y'all niggas thinking? KBD family, love y'all. Salute. Tell me what you